This is the 10 best zombie movies of the last 25 years, ranked in 5 stars category. The 10 best zombie movies of the last 25 years, ranked 10th, Land of the Dead, 2005, directed by George A. Romero. Land of the Dead may not be the best zombie movie of its decade or reach the level of quality of George A. Romero's previous Dead films, but it was a wonderful moment in horror history to see the father of modern zombie cinema be given a bigger budget to make a new film thanks to the rising popularity of other box office undead hits. It's also way better than the 2 subsequent zombie movies he would make later. Dawn of the Dead, 2004, directed by Zack Snyder. The 00s was an era of remakes in horror, and while many of them were dead on arrival, several managed to live up the legacy of their originals, including Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead, which manages to forge its own entertaining path and even do one key thing better than Romero's original. James Gunn's screenplay gets rid of the social commentary that was key to the original and instead goes for a high-octane thrill ride. This turned out to be the right choice since it plays to the strengths of director Zack Snyder, who has never had much luck when it comes to satire. The Girl with All the Gifts, 2016, directed by Cole McCarthy. Similar to the hit franchise The Last of Us, the dystopian thriller The Girl with All the Gifts features a zombie outbreak that is fungal in its origin. After the fall of humanity, children who are unaffected carriers of the parasitic fungus are part of an experiment carried out by a small group of scientists and soldiers. After their facility is overrun, a single young girl escapes with a group of survivors. 7. Zombieland, 2009. Directed by Ruben Fleischer. Zombieland is one of the best horror comedies of the zeros, thanks to a clever script and a terrific ensemble cast. Jesse Eisenberg plays the meek and terrified Columbus, who has survived the zombie apocalypse thanks to the rigid set of rules he follows. He meets up with the gun-toting, Twinkie-loving Tallahassee, played by Woody Harrelson, and together, they try to make it across the United States without getting chewed. Number 6. One Cut of the Dead, 2017. Directed by Shinichiro Ueda. Coming out of Japan, One Cut of the Dead may be the most original zombie movie of the 21st century. What starts as a low-budget zombie movie shoot that becomes beset by an actual zombie outbreak then gets another twist mid-movie that turns everything on its head. One Cut of the Dead is much more than just a zombie movie, and watching it reinvent itself is one of the joys of viewing it fresh. It's also one of the best movies about making movies, and will likely be even more appreciated by anyone who has ever spent any time on a low-budget film set. 5. Paranorman, 2012. Directed by Sam Fell and Chris Butler. For anyone who thinks that zombie movies can't be for the whole family, stop-motion animation studio Laika is here to prove them dead wrong with Paranorman. This gateway horror film features an 11-year-old boy who can talk to dead people, but unlike Haley Joel Osment, he's not haunted by them. It's the living who give him trouble, until they have to rely on him when an ancient witch's curse raises the dead. 8 Days Later, 2002. Directed by Danny Boyle. Though technically featuring rage-infected humans rather than true undead, Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later still features many of the same tropes of the subgenre and engages with the same themes. After a dangerous contagion is released from an animal testing facility, the United Kingdom is plunged into chaos. 28 Days Later, Cillian Murphy awakens alone in a hospital in a nearly abandoned London. 3. Rec, 2007. Directed by Jaume Balaguerro and Paco Plaza. Perhaps the only zombie film more intense and gritty than 28 Days Later is the Spanish-language found-footage horror movie Rec. Following a young TV reporter as she shadows a fire station's night shift, a ride-along to an emergency medical call at an apartment building quickly devolves into horror. After an attack, a viral outbreak occurs and the building is put into quarantine, trapping the reporter, firefighters and tenants inside.